What's going on, investors? Dest here from Investments. Today I'm going to make an overview of the new Pulsar layer on Matic network. So Polypulsar farm is the new layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the website and we're going to go through some of the docs and we're going to talk about the changes that are going to be occurring on this layer that were different from the last layer. I also want to do a very brief overview of the games, and I say brief because I'm going to do a separate video covering the games independently. We'll do some actual gameplay as well as looking at the fundamentals of the game and how the ecosystem operates. So this site currently is live. However, farming begins on Friday night. So farming is not yet live. However, liquidity is already provided and you can play games currently. So the only thing we're waiting for is farming. It's important to note that this is a 2-token project. So there's Beta Pulsar, BPUL, as well as BNT. And the way this is going to work is when you're farming, you're going to be paid in BPUL, okay? And when you start playing the games, you're going to start with the bounty hunter game, okay? And the way this is going to work is you're going to buy a bounty hunter, you're going to play the missions, and then when you complete these missions, you get paid in BNT. So this is the only way that BNT is created is through these missions. So the only two ways you could ever have it is by playing these missions or by purchasing it on the open market for what people are selling it for. However, I do want to say with BNT in the farm, there will be a BNT BPUL pair as well. And that's going to have a very high APR, at least it did in the last iteration. So important to note the difference there for what BPUL is used for and what BNT is used for. Now, when you have the BNT that you've earned from this, you're going to either use that for the BPUL BNT farm, like I said, that has the high APR, or you take it over to the pet arena where you can do PvP versus different people. So Crypto Wolf is waiting in room 2 here for a fight. So we're going to stick my pet on him. And we're going to see if our pet will win here. And we'll let this go while we keep on chugging along here. It looks like he got me. He won that one. So it's important to know the difference here. And one of the new incentives on this project is that there is a leaderboard, and these leaderboard places are going to be distributed funds. And we'll get into that more later. But it makes sense to play the games in this iteration to be on the leaderboard. So let's start looking at the docs and we'll go over this kind of piece by piece and we'll break this all down. And I'll highlight the differences that are going to be changes from the last iterations because I think it's very important that we communicate that there are going to be differences here. So like it says, Beta Pulsar is their 3rd project, but it's the first one on Polygon. And it seems like Polygon is going to be a better home for them just due to the low gas fees. This is essentially an NFT-based game with a farming aspect. And I say it in that order specifically because their game is what drives the ecosystem and the farming just so happens to be associated with. So they have 2 types of games, PvE and PvP, and we'll get into more of that later. But what they do point out in this portion of the documents is that these games have created a very great deflationary mechanism for this project. So they got some examples here showing how much was actually burned, and you got 61% of BNT and 74% of BPUL burnt. So those burn rates are pretty epic compared to most farms. So as I say, Polygon is going to be much more affordable for gas fees. I think we were looking at $1 on Binance Smart Chain. So now we're looking at literal cents in this Matic chain. So it'll be a great change, especially if they keep upgrading these games to have more and more detail. It's only going to benefit them to be on Matic. The only caveat I will say about being on Matic is that it is still relatively new and there are some growing pains that we'll probably experience with that. But you're in the hands of Nox, the developer here, so I think you'll be in good hands and I don't think you got anything to worry about. So like I said, there is 2 tokens on this project, BPUL and BNT. Beta Pulsar, the initial supply was 2 million, 1 million of which was purchased through the previous layer NFTs, and it was airdropped to those NFT owners. And then there's also 1 million in locked liquidity. Initial price was 1 penny and max supply is unlimited. Currently the block emission rate is 10, but that could change due to inflation. So it's something they're keeping their eye on. They may change it if necessary. Only 9.09 will be sent to developer address for future development, marketing purposes, audit costs, and community rewards and outsourcing costs. So very low developer fund for this project, which is something you want to see. You know, you want to see them put some away, but not an exorbitant amount. So this is a good balance, I would say. If anything, it's rather low. The second token, BNT, and this is bounty token. Initial supply 1,000, and that was just to provide initial liquidity. It's locked. Initial price was 2 cents and max supply of unlimited. Now, this does not have a fixed emission rate. So this token is supposed to be rare and valuable, and the only way to earn it is supposed to be through the bounty hunter game. So you're supposed to play that game to earn your BNT. So the thought is that you farm B-Pole, use that B-Pole to play bounty hunter to earn this BNT. And then you take that BNT and take that to PvP, where you're going to play with a pet against other people and potentially even earn more BNT. So like they say, there's 2 sources to earn BNT. You buy an NFT character, play missions, and it'll reward you BNT on completion. Both the NFT character and missions require B-Pole as payment, Beta Pulsar. So that is going to be your farming currency, Beta Pulsar. So as you farm, you're going to have more funds to buy characters and do missions with that character. As you complete the missions with your NFT character, you'll be leveled up. If you reach level 100, your character will earn the right to retire and start receiving BNT tokens as pension. So if you reach level 100, your character can earn an emission rate of BNT as a pension. And you can play more missions to earn more BNT with your character. BNT will be highly valued because it's low inflation, and BNT Beta will give you the highest APR possible. So there's going to be a farm pair, BNT Beta LP, and it's going to give you a high APR. Of course, it's still going to pay you in B-Pole, but you can take that and play the game continuously. We will not mint any BNT for the team. So that just says they're not going to be giving themselves BNT. There's no block reward that goes to the developers. The only way they can earn it as developers is by playing the game just like us. Then we're going to get into the deflationary mechanics of this game. And this is where we're going to start seeing some changes. So typical deposit fee, 4% on non-native staking pools and farms. Previously, 3/4 of the fees were used for buybacks, 1/4 was sent to the dev address. This is where we're changing. I'll read it word for word. We have decided to abandon our buyback and burn policy on Polygon. Instead of spending 3/4 deposit fees for buybacks, they will be sent to people in Leaderboard to promote our games. So this is where we're differing from the previous layers. There's not going to be the standard buybacks that we've been seeing with Beta Pulsar. So these buybacks were previously one of the things that a lot of people farming really enjoyed about this project because it kept the price very stable. There was a period on alpha where it was like 4 days of price stability where it was just fluctuating between $70 to about $100, and people really loved that for farming, but it didn't really benefit the project. So what this new policy is supposed to be doing is rewarding the leaderboard, so it should reward the game players instead of the farmers, which I think is a more appropriate model for a gaming platform, to reward the game users rather than the farmers. And like I said before, the whole thought of the farming is that you're able to take your B-Pole and play the games with it. So they do go on to say that, however, if they realize that the money we hold in the deposit fees is way above our market cap and we can reset our inflation with some buyback, we will use it for burns. For example, we hold 10K deposit fee, market cap dropped from 100K to 10K. In this scenario, they can spend 1/10 of their deposit fee and burn all the tokens on the market to stop any sell pressure. So what they're saying is they reserve the right to do burns if they feel like it, They're only going to do it when they can cause a big change with relatively small amount. So like they said, 1/10 of their deposit fees. I think it's a good experiment to see how this is going to work. And I think realistically, it's going to promote people to play the games, to be on that leaderboard, to receive some of the buyback funds. And we'll get into the leaderboard as well as the distribution of funds in a little bit here. Transfer tax. There are some minor changes here that I do want to cover as well. Every transaction with our native token will have a transfer tax of 8%. Okay, 7% is burnt and 1% is reflected. What that reflected means is that it is going to go directly into a pool for the leaderboard funds. So they say this will help fight inflation as well as the bots trying to swing trade. BNT will have 8% burn. So again, 8% transaction fees. 100% of the transfer fees will be burned automatically. The reflected amount of B-pool will be sent to the leaderboard reward pool, like I said. BNT will have 8% tax for normal transactions, but 4% for PvP. So it does seem like PvP won't be taxed as hard, which is a good idea because you don't want to be negatively impacting people from playing the game. The transactions that will be facing this tax include adding, removing liquidity from BNT or B-pool, selling, buying BNT or B-pool, sending BNT or B-pool, staking, unstaking, harvesting, and compounding. So important to know that there is a tax, but that should only help to make sure this coin is deflation. All right, then we got NFT character and pet sales. So this has more to do with the game. You will be able to buy a Pulsarian bounty hunter in the project. This character will be necessary to complete missions and earn bounty token. And this is for the bounty hunter game. There's two separate games. The price of the character is determined to be 100 B-pool, and each time a character is sold, we automatically burn 100% of the payment. So this 100 B-pool price is subject to change. I think they just dropped it down to 10 B-pool. Just make sure you check that before you start playing the game. The important thing is that 100% of those payments will be burned. Similarly, in PvP, you will need to buy a pet for 200 BNT. Again, I think this just changed to 10. Each time the pet is sold, they'll automatically burn 100% of the payment. Again, contributing to the deflationary mechanism of this project. Then bounty hunter missions. So players who own NFT can play the bounty hunter missions and earn BNT tokens. Each mission will have a different beta token cost, and each time a mission is played, 100% of the payment to play those missions is going to be burned. Even more deflation. Utility NFTs. This is something we see at the end of the life cycle of these layers, so we're hoping that this doesn't have to happen, and it'll only be activated if the project fails significantly and they need to migrate to a next layer. With all these deflationary mechanisms, we shouldn't see a drastic drop off like some of the other layers. So we're kind of tweaking it as each layer comes out and trying to refine it so it's more and more stable, so the next layer never has to even come out. If it does, they will release NFTs for the next layer on this layer, and you will purchase those NFTs and then you will be airdropped when the next layer starts. If that happens, I'll make an update video talking about how that'll work. I'm not going to cover it too much. And I also just covered the NFT sales and Matic migration airdrop that just happened to get us to Polypulsar farms. So like I said, if it happens again, I'll probably make another video explaining these NFTs. Then let's start talking about the games. And I'm going to do a brief introduction here. I don't want to cover them too much because I'm going to make a separate video about it, but it's important to note a couple facts. So the Bounty Hunter is the first game, and this game is going to be played with B-pool, and players will be rewarded in BNT. There are a couple different missions that you can do and a couple different outcomes that could come. This is basically like a statistic type game, so it does show your odds here. And it also shows the potential rewards here. Then it also goes on to say that once you become level 100, you become a pensioner, and you can start receiving BNT as a pension. I would say the takeaways for this page for right now, until we do the second video, is bounty hunter game. You're going to be paying for your character with B-Pull, and then you're going to be paying for the missions also with B-Pull, and then you're going to be earning BNT and leveling your character up. So the goal is obviously to get to level 100 so you become a pensioner and earn BNT while you sleep. Even with a level 100 character, you can still play these missions and earn more BNT. So this is going to take us to our second game, which is Pulsar Arena. And this is the PvP game that we were looking at before. So here players are able to interact with each other using NFT pets. So now in this one, you are going to be using BNT. So you will potentially be using the BNT that you earned from playing the bounty hunter missions. So you will be able to purchase a pet. Current price of these pets, it does say that the pet costs 200 BNT. Currently the price is only 10. I believe again that is subject to change, so make sure you check it before you start playing the game. But there's 4 different pets you can purchase, and then you can take them into the PvP games. And this will be a 1v1 fight where each player pays a set amount of BNT to fight each other, and the winner receives the pot after transfer tax is cut out. So here's a couple of things I really wanted to bring forth with this Pulsar Arena, is that players will need to make sure they're among the top players at the end of each day in order to receive extra awards. So like I said before, the leaderboard is going to be rewarded, and that'll be our next topic we're going to cover. But it's important that your pet each day is in the leaderboard to receive rewards. When rewards are distributed, all scores are reset and a new competition begins for the next prize distribution. Your pet also becomes slightly stronger as she or he gets more wins. And the statistics for that are right here. It doesn't drastically increase your odds. It's just a very minor adjustment. So here's where we're going to talk about the leaderboards here. Top players in the leaderboard will be calculated according to the scores they earn from each fight. Players in the leaderboard will get 2 types of rewards, B-Pull and USDC. Now, I'm making this video pre-farming. Currently, they are only distributing rewards in B-Pull. The USDC rewards don't start until farming starts. And this is how it will be distributed. So, first place will get 25% of the total reward. Second place will get 15%. Third place will get 10%, and so on and so forth until 16th through 20th get 1% of the total reward. After the reward distribution, scores for the top 20 will be reset. Those players who were not in the top 20 will keep their scores for the next competition. So that pretty much covers everything that we'll see in the docs. Now I do want to take a look at the web page here just so I can show you this UI here. So like typical farms, on your left page you got the trade tab with the drop down, so you can either exchange B-Pull or BNT. Important to note, we are on the Matic network, so the main exchange on the Matic network is QuickSwap. And important to note that there are the 2 tokens, so make sure you know which one you're purchasing and for what. Then you have the layered tab, which shows you all the previous layers. You want to make sure you're on Pulsar Beta Polygon. This is the current layer, Pulsar Beta on Polygon. All these are previous, so they're still active, but they're not actively developed on, so you want to be on the newest layer. Then you have the Farms tab. Currently it takes you to the home page because the Farms tab is not open yet. Farms will be open Friday the 25th. Same with the Pools tab, that will be available later. NFTs tab also unavailable at the time because that is a placeholder in case they need to migrate to a new layer, and they're hoping to extend this polypulsar layer as long as they can. And with these deflationary mechanisms in place, I see this being a more stable project than most farms. I also like the fact that this was a lower starting price. With so many of these farming projects, you're so used to seeing that pre-farming pump and then significant drop off with farming starts. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think a lot of the B-Pull that people are going to be earning in the farm is going to actually be used for the games, because the tokenomics of this project actually reward people for playing the games. So I'm excited to see what happens with this. I think it's going to be a great experiment just to see what happens. So then the next tab down is going to be the Bounty Hunter tab. And you're going to have two tabs on there. You're going to have your profile, where you're going to have your bounty hunter, and it's going to show you your statistics. So how many bounty hunters you've had, how many missions, successful missions, failed missions, and total BNT collected. Then you're going to have your missions. Again, this is subject to change. Price shows as 100 BPOL. I believe currently it's 10 BPOL. Just make sure you check it beforehand. Then you have my favorite part, the Pulsar Arena, and you have your pet shop where you can purchase your pet, your info on your pet, and you can see I've played 4 matches, I've won 1 and I lost 3. My total score is 50. And then here's the PvP. So you can see this guy is currently waiting for a fight, so we'll stick our pet on him while we look at the leaderboard. And here's the leaderboard. So here it shows the total rewards to be distributed. 706 BPOL. So currently, since farming is not open yet, they're only distributing BPOL, but this is subject to change once farming begins, and they're going to be doing a combination of BPOL and USDC. Now I think this is a great addition to pay in USDC, because I think if you were to reward these leaderboards with BPOL, I think that would cause more sell pressure. So the fact that they're paying in USDC is a great idea to me. Then you also have the total rewards distributed. This just shows how much rewards have been distributed to players in the leaderboard. So then you got your leaderboard where it shows the operator's name here. So you can see Crypto Wolf, my nemesis right now, has a score of 750 with 8 wins and 7 losses and 4 kills. So you can see I am not on the leaderboard, so my pet must have died on that, and yes, he did. So then the next couple tabs are typical tabs you see. So you got the audits, audit by the rugdoctor. The developer of this project was actually a moderator on the rugdoctor Telegram, so he's a very trusted community member in the DeFi space. Then you got the charts. So you got a couple different options you can look at for charts here. And I didn't really know Kucoin was going to work with Matic, but it looks like that is the case, which is good because I like that site. So a couple different options there. Then the features tab is just going to take you to the docs. So they got different tabs for each different section of the docs here. And then info, they got the GitHub, the docs, and the blog. And then videos tab is where you can find many of the videos that I made, kind of tutorial videos that are showing how to do different tasks, or the overview, or the next video will be in there for the games, I'm sure. So that's all I got for this video. You can find me in the Pulsar Arena, fighting your pet every day, because I'm definitely trying to get on these leaderboards because I want to get some of the rewards from this distribution. I think it's going to be a very lucrative opportunity that's going to be a fun addition to these games. So if you got any comments, questions, concerns, if I said something wrong, or you just want to say what's up, leave it in the comments below. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Help the algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Till next time. Later. Alright guys, we just bought 100 BNT because we got Crypto Wolf. He is in the leaderboards with a score of 750, 8 wins, 7 losses, 4 kills. We got to take him out. So we bought a pet. We've got 100 BNT to enter this game. We're going to join the room. Got to take him out. Someone's got to do it. And I've promoted him to #1 on the leaderboard now. So when you get distributed your rewards, make sure you hit your guy back, alright?